Hey guys, this is Vegillito from Vegillito Can Studio, and today I'm just going to show you a bit of the workflow that I use that are going to be used in a professional game. So here we got clean mocap data, and I'm going to be showing you how to clean it up, make it loopable, and how it's going to be game ready. So let's get into it. First of all, you will find what you need. Every mocap data has unusable parts as well. So what I do, I find the first frame where I think the attack will start. The initial start pose I will bring in myself. So there we go. I think from there we can take it. Cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select, I also brought in an add-on showing my inputs, so you can follow along if you want to. Then I will copy this over. I have a skeleton of this one, which I made to T-pose and already rigged it. So I don't want to do that with every single file, so I just have it on a separate file. So here you can see the character ready in a T-pose, and that means that he has all the auto posing points as well. What I will do is I will select all the frames, and I selected the frames that I wanted. And just moving on, you can see my input to get it back into this scene. And here we go. And this is just to get it on a rig that had the auto pausing on, because then I can retarget it so we can see it a bit more visual. So then we just take the scene, edit, retargeting, copy, and move it over to here. And same thing, select, edit, retargeting, paste. And just give this process a couple of seconds and it should be good to go. Okay, as you can see here, it's a bit fast because the original is in 30 FPS and this one is in 60. The scene is in 60. So what I just do is, sorry, I'm doing this a bit like this. So I'm just counting 46 times it by 2. So Control T, and then we should be like this. Then you can see how it is. And now it should be working. Nice, and we have the original speed. So I guess that what you should start with is just when you have it all selected, you want to make sure that everything is touching the ground. So I'm just going to select the center of mass as I move the character. I think this is a fine way of doing it instead of selecting all the bones. Moving on, we just go there, and I select like this, and then we just choose one of the points, and let's see, I will make this the camera, just follow along, and it seems like that fixed the ground issue. Beautiful. And from here I just want to unbake the whole thing. So just select everything again and push unbaking. So when I'm editing, I'm using the edit interval mode here. And this will just change everything accordingly to the input that I make. Moving on here, you can see now we have very few frames to work with, which is a good thing. Of course, the fine-tuning of how many frames you get, you of course have a value. So we have different values here where you can kind of tell them to what specific you want, like how big a movement should set a key. And this you can tweak, like if you feel like you're losing something. So usually I'm just looking at the feel because we're going to be altering things. To be honest, this animation is really good, but of course we're going to have problems like having this kick in that speed in a game would just feel terrible when it comes to game feel, right? So we're going to be altering that anyhow. So now it's just starting to look for issues. So let's see, we have this foot acting up like this point here. Let's see how many frames. Okay, just front frame. And with the auto processing tool, just shift C it. Seems better. And I will just move this a bit up just to make it look natural. And perfect. Then we can move on as well to look at the other frames. So here we have a toe issue where the toe is going up, but we don't need it. Just Shift C. Okay, is this gonna be an issue or more frames? Yeah, also you can see like this leg is floating. But yeah, let me just get the toe down. Moving on. The whole character is floating at this point. And when you select the center of mass, you can just right click anywhere and you can control it from that point. That would also make it rotate around that point, which is pretty nice. Is it about the same issue? Okay, so in this use case, we can see like you could take all the frames that you feel is wrong. So for this one, you can make these two a selection, interval edit mode, just drag it down, and you should apply it for both of them. And here you can see the turning, so I'm just going to turn that off. And okay, so it seems like it's still going to be an issue. Since these frames are not as many, I just do it manually. Let's see, is this supposed to be a jump? If we do it like this. Yeah, it looks natural. These are like the hugest mistakes that I'm just gonna be fixing up. Here we have the toe issue as well. Do we have it on this one? Nope. Shift C. Is that good enough? It feels so. Also could try removing this one. Okay, so now it looks a bit stable. I think this is pretty much correct. Like if you look at the form, he's leaning over, so it looks good. Let's keep on going through. Fix the toe on that one. On that one. Looks good. And you can see how fast the workflow is like overall. Okay, we have some floating and sliding going on. So let's just start from the beginning. So when it comes to sliding, like the best visual way is just to enable the shadow and use the key so you have like the previous frame, because like the interpolation we don't want to do anything with, at least not now. So let's see, it has a twist right here, but like you have to look at the weight point. So does it look like he's turning on his heel? It does. So then we could accept the heel being at the same spot. Here you can see it's about the toe. I just will select the center of mass. I mean, like, this is a bit of nitpicking, but I mean, when it's that easy, why not? Okay, so now he's sliding on his toe, and I would recommend having it on the weight point, something like this. And that should look more correct. And then you can see at this point it's sliding a bit, so I adjust that as well, because you want to make him spin around at the same point. It's just gonna make it all look so much more stable. Okay, so that previous scene or frame didn't hit the ground. So let's see. Okay, here you can see it's starting to slide as well. Just fine adjust it. Okay, let's see. Would have that as well, a little bit over there. Just keep on moving through the frames, like in the air. It should be fine. Should be fine, don't worry. Let's see. Okay, so I know this is a realistic foot placement as well, or this is actually better. The weight looks so much better there. And of course this mocap data is considering being really clean. So I'm trying to get some messy, really bad mocap data as well. But I think like this is gonna be giving the initial way of doing it. And then we're gonna be going more advanced with way more worse mocap data. Okay, so now the foot placement looks so much better. And it looks natural when he's spinning on his foot as well. Okay, so now I feel confident in the foot placement. Then let's see what more can be messed up. So sometimes the fingers goes a bit further in than what you actually want. It could be the glove that's sitting wrong. Like this actually looks good. So we're just gonna be following. We're using this tool for that, to track object with the camera. And then we just follow it, look for clipping or unnatural movements. Okay, so here we have it going through. And then we have to decide what we can do to fix it. So we could either make a frame in between, but actually what I think I would do. Okay, so this is a small trick. I would add another frame here, right? And then I'm thinking like, to make it not go through that one, I will take the thumb, move it in, there. The reason why I made another frame is that I want to take this and I will take it, right click this relative to this point. So then I will take relative in local mode. I will copy it. And then I can take, this is the right arm. Now, without caring about this frame, I would say that we go here, is your mode, and then we activate it, and then pasting this into the last frame, like this. Now it will gradually going through these frames to get to that point, which will make it look natural instead of just pasting it in and you got like this tweaking. While we have done that, we can remove those frames again. And let's see if that fixes the issue. Yeah. Now the thumb is moving much better regarding to the rest. Then we keep on going through. Okay, we got some clipping here. Let's see how many frames you have the clipping for. Because these are all right. Let's see, 60. Okay, so 64 is when it starts. And it keeps clipping. All the way to the end. Okay. No issue. So this being the first one. So now I don't want it in relative mode, or maybe I could do it in relative mode. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna select right arm, go through here, and we can take it this one relative to this one. I will just have the linear mode selected. And let's see. Then I wanted to move something like that. A bit in. Let's make it a bit close and look how well it interpolates that. Okay, so these two frames didn't want to be friends with me, so oh, I had it in relative mode, so that's probably it. But something like this. Yeah, okay, I could have done this cleaner, but it's such few frames. Okay, I don't actually think we're gonna see much to the difference, but I would know. And if you would have like some camera work, it wouldn't be an issue. Then just let us repeat. This is the right arm. Then we have this arm. So just let us focus on this. And we're gonna move through. So looks good. The thumb is a usual issue when it comes to all of this. Looks good. Still works. Okay, I wouldn't consider this clipping, but a little bit to the side. And since the motion is so small, I wouldn't really care that much. Okay, let's see how many frames this is messing up for. Let's keep going. Yeah, okay, so pretty much all of these frames are wrong. So now I want to take linear mode. I want to check this one, edit local relative. And I will try to just bring it down. Somewhere like this. Just find like the sweet spot. I think something like this is like the original. Okay, now we fixed all of those. Just keep on going in here. Let's see. All of these are clear. Okay, so these are the frames that doesn't work anymore. And then we just adjust this as well. And the two last frames. Yeah, and it's beautiful. So let's see. Okay, this just makes it look messy, but let's see. Moving on. Schmeck. Beautiful. And now we cleaned up the most of it. So this is part of the workflow to make it look clean, good. Yeah. And of course, usually it goes way faster than this, but just showcasing it, I try to be a bit more, show how the workflow is. No. So usually it goes much faster than this, but I just try to show how the workflow is. Now we have clean up march, so now it's just looking through for hip movement. This data is pretty clean. So usually like the knee rotation, shoulders, head can be a bit off. Like here you see the head is clipping. Then we just take the head and same procedure. Is just select this bone, interval edit mode. Just move it a bit. Wait. Right click this one. Move it a bit up. Yeah, and then it's fixed. And we can focus a bit on the shoulder movement. So another way you can check if like it's off is that you can enable trajectory on, and then you can watch the trajectory. So what you can do is just select this and look for weird stuff. So this is a bit weird. But it's on the momentum change, so I would actually let that go. Then we can do the same for this one. Look for weird movement. It all looks good. Nice. I'm gonna do the same for kneecap. Okay, so here we can see something weird. Yeah, it looks natural. Same for this one. Looks natural. And I think, okay, so this one could also mess up a bit. So I would consider this one cleaned up. And for the next video, I want to show you how you add your custom idle pose or start pose to the start and the end. And we're going to center it and make the root bone be correct as well. As you can see here, the root bone... Oh, never mind. I actually set up this scene so it fixes it automatically, but you could get into the situation where the root bone isn't moving as it's supposed to be. It could be locked to the center. So I will go through that as well in another episode. Well, thank you for watching and see you soon.